All right, so last night we got the Honkai Star Rail 3.4 developers radio. With these developer radios can honestly be a pretty big mixed bag, because sometimes the changes are super good, sometimes the changes are kind of mid, but we have some very interesting stuff in this one, so I wanted to make a video on it here. And there are two very big things in here, then some other just like kind of whatever stuff. So let's start out with the first very big one. The new old character buffs. We only have information right now for what Silverwolf's buffs can do. So it says here, starting in version 3.4, Silverwolf, Blade, Kafka, and Jingliu will have enhanced mode enabled by default. So enabled by default seems to mean that as soon as 3.4 drops and we log in, they're just going to be enhanced, which is cool. So you don't have to do any kind of work to do it. Kind of similar to how Zedla Zone Zero did the Ellen buffs in 2.0. So it says this enhancement includes adjustments to their abilities, traces, and Eidolons. Okay, so Eidolons getting changes as well is interesting. So these changes will also benefit the whale players a bunch too. And then they say here, for example, Silverwolf's ultimate and skill have both been updated. Her ultimate is now an AoE attack instead of single target, and her skill will now prioritize adding the weakness type of the first ally in your lineup. These are very good changes for Silverwolf, especially if you've been playing, early on and you used Silverwolf at first and saw her kind of decline in the Honkai Star Rail meta. So ultimate being AoE is huge because now she has the same thing as Pella, where she has AoE defense shred, which is super good in honestly any kind of content. And now her skill prioritizing the weakness type of the first ally in the lineup is also very good because now it's also going to make your team lineup a little bit more important to where you put the first character in the lineup as the one where you want to apply that weakness. So, for example, if you're running a team with like two other elements, so Quantum, you're running like a wind element, and you're running a like Imaginary, for example, and let's say the enemy is only weak to Quantum and Imaginary, you want to put that wind character in the first slot. That way you can have that weakness up as well. So that is very good there. It also does say right here in the because it looks like they have a little summary of what the enhancements are too. So from right here, it's saying ultimate can cause an AoE attack, which we did see. Skill prioritizes adding the weakness for the first position ally, which is also what we saw. And then at the start of battle and the turn, she's going to regenerate energy. So this is very good as well. Also pairing this with the way her E1 works, assuming that doesn't have any other changes, because you are going to get a very strong amount of energy with her. So she's going to end up becoming a pretty solid like ult machine. So Silverwolf is going to be very good. I'm definitely going to test her out once the 3.4 update drops. And meanwhile, Trailblazers can toggle enhanced mode on or off at will, which I'm sure no one's going to be toggling it off. It's a very interesting thing to be able to toggle, but yeah, I mean, I guess it doesn't hurt anyone. Turn off to restore the character's original abilities. More details about character enhancements will be revealed in the version 3.4 special program. So once we get that info, I am definitely going to be covering that in another video. So if you guys are interested for that, be sure to leave a like and hit that subscribe button. But that is the first big thing. So now let's go on to the second one, which is something that people have been asking for Honkai Star Rail, because one of the biggest complaints about this game has been the absolute insane length of these story quests, especially recently. They are finally adding a skip button. Starting in version 3.4, two new features will be added: skip dialogue and story summary. And version 3.6 will further introduce the story recap feature. And this is really good because of what they say here. They say that we hope these tools will help you experience Honkai Star Rail your way and at your own pace. I think this is very good because while a lot of the community talks about like the story, not every player is like, oh, I really want to play the story, like I'm super invested in it. Some people want to play the game for other reasons that don't involve going through an 8-hour story quest. So having the ability to skip is a good thing. Now, if you're someone who really likes the lore, of course, you're not going to use the skip button, and that's fine too. I think just giving more options for players to play the game how they want is a good thing. Now, obviously, the length of these Amphorius quests, compared to the quality and the amount of time you can actually play the game, is, that's still an issue, but this is a step in the right direction at the very least. And for that, I'm going to take that for now. But I think once we get through Amphorius, we gotta do something about this story length because it has gotten out of control. Then down here, it's going to show us the dialogue skip. So it is just straight up going to be a skip button there during the story, which is cool. And story conversations will be broken into segments so you can skip by paragraph, which is cool. So that you don't have to like completely skip through the entire like dialogue segment. If there's like a segment that you think is kind of just like, if you're feeling like, you know what, they're kind of yapping a little bit, you could skip that one segment, move on to the next one, which is pretty solid, honestly. Then here as well for story summary. Whenever you skip, you will actually get a summary of what happened there, which is really good because if I remember correctly, the Herda and Screwlum scene is about the end of 3.3 when they were using their like hologram thing to look into Amphorius, and they turned that cutscene, which was probably like at least 5 minutes, they turned it into a few sentences. Where they just say they use projections to perceive what's transpiring in Amphorius. They agreed the priority was to track down you and Don Hung, and then I guess they hid a bit of it for like spoiler reasons, which fair enough. But the fact that the summary is that short is also very good, so that people who want to just progress and just get through the story and still have at least some info of what happened, this is going to be very good for them because it gives a more short and concise summary without giving like the entire lore, so that if people want to see the entire lore, they can just play through the actual story and not use the skip button. So this is also very good. So it looks like the dialogue skip feature will apply to dialogues in Trailblaze missions, Trailblaze continuances, companion missions, and adventure missions. It does not apply to cutscenes or exploration gameplay. Okay, cool. So yeah, so there's no skip button for cutscenes because low-key accidentally skipping a cutscene or just skipping a cutscene would be kind of crazy. So in version 3.4, story summary will be available for the worlds of Amphorius, Eurylos 6, and Herda Space Station. The rest will be added to version 3.6. Okay, no Penacony skip is kind of crazy. Yeah, no skip for Penacony is a little crazy, but it is what it is. They'll get it by 3.6. And I know we're also getting the Penacony like story rewrite kind of thing in 3.8. So that can also be good as well to have for when that drops. And they also have the story recap, which is going to be in 3.6. So once again, Honkai Star Rail are now announcing things super early, which on one hand is cool, but on another hand, it's like some of the things, it's just like you kind of forget about them until it gets closer. And I feel like this will be one of those things where I'll like low-key forget about it until 3.6 gets closer. So Trailblazers can choose to re-experience completed Trailblaze missions, Trailblaze continuances, and companion missions. They can freely choose if they wish to view specific cutscenes or cinematics. Being able to review cutscenes is awesome, especially for content creators who try to get their own like B-roll and like gameplay kind of stuff, because we can actually go and get our own cutscene recordings now, which is super nice if we didn't get them when we were originally playing the game. So that is also very good. And story recap will also allow for you to experience different dialogue choices or have the dialogue options to be freely chosen, thus making the recap experience even smoother. However, the story combat and exploration experience cannot be rewound. For more details, please pay attention for future announcements. This part here for the actual like story recap, that is going to be more so for like the lore enthusiasts, which is awesome for them because if they like miss something on their first playthrough, they can just jump back and look at all those details there, which I think is very good. And then the final, image here, which I don't think this is going to be that important for the average player that's on the internet a lot and like looks at guides and everything. But I feel like for the demographic of people who like doesn't really like look on the internet or social media or anything like that for the game, I think this could be good. Like if someone's just solely playing the game and not looking up anything about it, they're adding a build buddy kind of thing called Scholar Wubbie. It's going to be on beta. It's going to be a beta thing on Hoyolab. And Hoyolab is accessible through the game, so like that's fine. And it's going to analyze some in-game data to consider characters, relics, and just make team lineups and optimal relic setups. So they'll be able to give you hopefully some good builds. Like we'll see how that goes as well. And it looks like Wubbie goes the extra mile by offering personalized optimization tips. It can help you identify promising relics hidden in your inventory or suggest which relics to farm next. And during the beta, we warmly welcome all Trailblazers to try Wubbie on Hoyolab. Yeah, so this is going to be good mainly for players who aren't as like hardcore or have crazy builds already. If you're someone who's either like a newer player just starting out, or if you just play the game super casually and don't really look at builds as much, this could be a nice way to see like, okay, this is something I can do next, right? So not like a bad change, but one that I don't think is going to be that crazy for a lot of people. So that is the end of the developer radio there. some really promising stuff, especially with the buffs, which I'm super excited to see for 3.4, as well as the skip button, which since I stream my story playthroughs, I probably won't be using the skip button for those, but the fact that it's there, I think is very good for a lot of people if they don't want to go through the like full story. And yeah, 3.4 I think is going to be a very interesting patch all in all with everything that we're going to be getting. And we have the live stream coming up in a few days now, so I am super excited about that. But that is going to be it from me. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments below what you all think about these changes and if you're excited for 3.4. And if you enjoyed the video and want to see more from me, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But with that, everyone, I will see you all next time.